So Marcus, you ran the marathon. You ran the NYC
Yes, I
marathon.
did. The one and only.
How was it? How'd it go?
It was honestly one of the best experiences of my life. It was amazing, and I would absolutely recommend anybody who wants to either run it's crazy enough to run it or just go outside their comfort zone. Absolutely do it. It's an amazing experience.
What? How did you feel on mile 25 when? How does it work? Do they have markers for every mile? Do you know how far you've made it, or are you just aimlessly running until you find the finish line and drag your corpse of a body over the finish line?
Very good question. They do have mile markers for every mile, so you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And yeah, so you know exactly where you are.
I feel like I would. Do they have numbers on them? Because if it's just markers, I feel like I would lose count and just start hallucinating and say, mile 100.
No, they have big numbers, and then they also have kilometer markers for the European folks.
So you used the KMs, didn't you? You cared
Nah,
about the.
I was all about them miles, son.
Oh my god, man. Oh man. Okay, so yeah, like I said, I'm clearly not as hard as you. I ran a half marathon. Now the big, very impressive thing I think about you more so than myself because I enjoy this stuff. You don't like doing this at all. This is not enjoyable for you. At least 2.5 months ago, it was not enjoyable for you.
Yeah, maybe a little different now. We'll see.
Yeah, it's way different now. He's afraid to admit it, maybe, but um, you actually ran a great time for someone that was training for 2.5 months only because you're not supposed to run a marathon at least until you've trained maybe 4 to 6 months, right? Because Alex, I'm telling you, the amount of physical stress you put your body under during this race, it doesn't matter how slow you're running, it is incredible. It is simply just the amount of stress. It's constant, the constant impact with the ground, constantly moving forward, whatever you got going on the race, like hills or wind or anything. It's a lot.
It's okay, Pete. You know what they say. They say you never feel more alive until you're on the brink of death. So I'm sure everyone running this marathon is going to feel the most alive they've ever felt.
I mean, to an extent, that's exactly how Marcus felt, right? So take us through your race. I mean, I could talk about my race too, but mine was literally just a beautiful course, and I was way too locked in to even think about it anyway. So all I did was just have, like I ran faster than I thought I would, and then,
Yeah, Pete
had intense nipple
absolutely
chafing.
murdered it. Pete absolutely murdered it.
We'll see. We could get there, but yeah, tell us about the course. So, because I want to run NYC with you one day, and you're gonna do it again with
Oh,
me.
for sure.
We're gonna break 3 hours.
Oh, Jesus. Let's break four first. It's at first, so you get to Fort Wadsworth, which is on Staten Island, and it's just basically all these runners on an island with a bunch of porta potties, and everybody just kind of just getting ready for it, and then they walk you up to the starting line, which is right near the toll booths on the Verrazano Bridge, and then you start, and the first 2.5 miles are just straight uphill on the Verrazano, but you're not even thinking about running because you are just first of all you're like, oh my god, I'm running the New York City Marathon, and second, you are on top of the Verrazano Bridge looking at like the most beautiful scenes ever, and you just can't believe that you're there. And it was a gorgeous day. It was, I don't know, it was like maybe 60 degrees Fahrenheit, sun, no clouds, no wind. You saw the city perfectly. You saw the large harbor to the right. You saw the Statue of Liberty. It was just crazy. But you do need to pace yourself within those first 3 miles. You should pace yourself anyway, but especially those because you're going uphill, and you also have a lot of adrenaline because you see a lot of people running by you. Everybody's hyped. It's the marathon, but it took a lot of mental discipline to not jump the gun because I was really tempted to start going, and then I realized my heart rate was going up too high, so I really needed to slow myself down. Then you get into Brooklyn, and Brooklyn, the most badass fans on earth.
Yeah, I've heard Brooklyn's electric.
Shout out to Brooklyn.
Massive shout out to Brooklyn. Sick fans all over the place with fantastic signs, giving out high fives, yelling at you, telling you about how great you are. And it was just like absolutely electric, and I was so glad that you could have that experience at the beginning of the race because you're not tired yet, and you're trying to keep track of your pace, and you can run at a nice pace, but you're really taking it all in until you get to the Hasidic Jewish neighborhood where it's completely silent.
That's a contrast.
Yeah, dude, it looked like you saw some of them walk around. They were like pissed and annoyed that you were running through their neighborhood. I swear to God, it was no fans, zero. It was literally all fans for like 7 miles. Mile 8 was just no fans. Then miles 9 through whatever you had fans.
So classic. But yeah, so where do you go after Brooklyn? So the NYC is famous for being run through all 5 boroughs. So you got, obviously you're going north, you're going into Queens, right? Where in Queens do you end up?
You run very briefly in Long Island City, and then you cross over the Queensboro Bridge into Manhattan. So that's about mile 14.
Got you. And I remember during our training, we had, basically what we would do is, Marcus had this running plan. It's literally this app called Running with Hal, and it's a great app. I actually am using it now to train for the upcoming, hopefully, Boston Marathon that I will run next spring. And every Saturday we would do our long runs together. So it would be something. Our first one was by far the funniest thing ever. The best joke that we have together is that 7 miles. This was a 7-mile run, and Marcus and I were struggling. This is the first run we had together, and dude, we were just like digging so deep for these 7 miles that it was just, there was nothing on earth to stop us from getting 6.99 to 7. You know, like we were men possessed to get to 7 that day.
Running at 14 minutes a mile.
That is.
We're so hard. You gotta stay hard, Pete.
Yeah, it was the funniest thing ever, and we could never stop cracking up about it.
So it's an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah, dude, 7 miles. It's so funny. Marcus sent me a video earlier of how David Goggins does 7 miles in 52 minutes on a regular day before he's got to go.
That's like his light run.
That's his warm up. That's his warm up.
Yeah, it's like a 6:50 pace. It's not that bad. But anyway, so yeah, we're training every Saturday morning, our long runs, and it could be anything. We started off with that 7, then we got all the way up to 20 at our max. And during that training, we picked a few routes that we liked in general, and one of those routes was we meet up at Alley Pond every Saturday, and we would take the what is it? It's not Winchester.
It's Winchester, but it turns into Douglaston Parkway.
Douglaston Parkway. Yeah. So we get on that road, Winchester, go up this small hill, and then we're falling downwards towards Douglaston. And so, obviously, what goes down must come up eventually, right? And we did a lot of long runs through that route because of the very purpose of having that massive hill. And I'm telling you, it's like, what is it, at least a half a mile just straight uphill.
Yeah, it's tough.
Like maybe 200 feet going uphill on Winchester Boulevard. So I remember we had our first real long run, which was 15. And we had that at the tail end, and you and I were heaving. You and I were so exhausted by the end of that. I mean, and then the same thing with the 18-mile and the 20-mile run. Or no, not the 18 miles was a different route, but the 20-mile run, we did that huge hill at the end. And that was all in preparation for the Queensboro Bridge hill, right?
Which was easy because we did that hill. It was easy. Everyone else on that bridge was dying. I just ran through it like no problem.
Right.
Because I remember I had the back of my head. I'm like, yeah, you remember Winchester? You remember Winchester?
You remember?
Yeah, you remember that? Yeah, that's what's up now. And I made it through easy. I'm telling you, I blasted through that bridge.
And was the gradient of that bridge as steep as Winchester or no?
Nothing on this course was as steep as Winchester.
Wow.
Nothing.
That's incredible.
That's pretty hard, gotta say.
Yeah, no, it was. And that's why we did it, because we said, by the way, that every last mile of that long run, we would try to run it as hard as we could up that hill. That first 15-miler, Pete almost yacked at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to pull over to the side, and he's just like, yo, bro, I just threw up all over the place.
We were literally a quarter of a mile away from Alley Pond, but we had already hit 15. I was like, dude, I need to stop right now, or else my whole intestines will be on this pavement. I just couldn't do it. It was grueling. But yeah, so
Mind you, we would also run these long runs at like 5 a.m.
oh my god, that was the best part about it. Also, we
with no breakfast.
yeah, I remember most of the time because Marcus is a working class citizen and I had other stuff going on as well. So we would just be like, okay. I think one day I proposed to him, dude, why don't we just get up super goddamn early and run like 10 miles or something, because we have to do it anyway. So let's just do it super early. And he looks at me and he's like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Are you a morning person, Marcus?
Oh, extreme. Yeah, I get up at 4:45 to go to the gym anyway, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So
Good
they
for
were
you.
Great experiences waking up at like 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. And then I just remember one day, I think we had a 12-miler on early Friday morning because we had to switch them. And I pull into Alley Pond parking lot. It's only us two, maybe some police car just chilling there. And I pull into the parking lot, and I hear Marcus blasting David Goggins and Cameron Haynes' YouTube video of David Goggins putting up like 40 reps on bench when he's already run a marathon and a half in the same day. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, so we're just going to go do a measly 12 miles right now.
Oh god, yeah, and Pete's got a video of me. Who's gonna carry the boats?
Yeah, oh my god, it's hilarious stuff. Dude, it's literally 5 a.m. in the morning. It's pitch black outside. We're about to do 14 miles. It's unbelievable stuff. You couldn't forget this. And mind you, we're also both pretty tired because at least, not everybody's feeling amazing at 5 a.m., right? At least I wasn't all the time, but...
You jack yourself up before that, for sure.
It's tough. So you got to get into a mentality that you just attack this somehow, some way. Maybe do some Wim Hof breathing. I don't know. Whatever. Something to get you into a mood to literally just run because it's a tough ordeal.
I guess listening to David Goggins, that'll do it. That'll pump you up.
Well, that guy's a lunatic in the best way. So.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So, anyways, we were talking about the hill. You get to Queensboro, you absolutely demolish it, and then from there you're into the city, right? But you're not in the city, you're not out of the woods yet. You have to go up into the Bronx, right? The South Bronx?
Correct, yeah.
And so you spend like maybe 1 mile in the Bronx, and where does that take you? What mile is that?
So when you're in the city, you run up about another 4 miles until you hit the Bronx. And mile 18 is where I started to feel a little bit shaky in the legs, like it's kind of feel it coming on. And then when you get to in the Bronx is where you hit mile 20. And when you cross over the bridge into the Bronx, because you're only in the Bronx for like a mile, it's very short. You're barely there, and the fans, it shows. There are not many fans there, and I don't blame them. They're barely there. But when you go over this bridge, there's someone put up like a huge, like kind of, not like a poster, but some sort of sign on the bridge that says, "Welcome to the Wall."
Do you understand what that means, Alex?
So for marathon runners, mile 20 is when you hit what's quote unquote called the wall, which is where your energy, your glycogen stores just get completely zapped and you're just running on pure fumes. The last 6 miles of a marathon are just pure heart.
So this is what do you call it? So this is what you call the hard part, right?
The first 20 miles are easy. It's just these last
No,
six
literally,
that really
and you know
matter.
what? It's funny. It's funny that you mentioned that because I remember I was at mile 16. I'm like, yo, dude, you feel so good. You're a bad motherfucker. You're gonna kill this, right? And then another voice in my head was like, Marcus, don't get cocky, because you're not gonna be
It's
saying
the
this
angel
in a
and
couple
the
minutes.
demon on both of your shoulders talking to you.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, right, calm yourself down. And then I started hitting mile 18, 19, 20, and I'm like, oh crap, here comes the wall. Here we're gonna find out a lot about yourself, Marcus.
This is where your true self comes out.
Yeah, and you learn a whole lot about yourself those last 6. So then you re-enter the city, and you're just running down, and your mind is just telling you stop now, and then another part of you is like, Fight pain with pain.
It's only pain.
If you're
It's
running
only
through
pain, mind over body.
if you're going through hell, keep going. You tell yourself anything to keep going. And what the shame is that Manhattan also has great fans, but for those last 6 miles, I cannot remember one face from anywhere. I'm just in my own zone, and then there are slow people in front of me, and I'm in my head like, get the out of my way. I was a man possessed. It was sick.
It's incredible. Dude, and Louise, your girlfriend was there, right? She was watching you, like, I think because you had videos and everything just of her at every big checkpoint or something.
Yeah, she got around 4 times. She got to see me 4 times. So
Nice.
saw me in Brooklyn when I was doing great. Saw me in Queens when I was doing good. Saw me in Manhattan when I was getting a little arrogant there. And then she saw me on like mile 22 when it was hurting.
He was down horrendously in Manhattan, mile 22, 23. And then, okay, so, you're basically 2-3 miles away. What's going through your head right now?
Run 1 more mile. Just give me 1 more. And then when you get to that one, give me another one.
Yeah.
And the problem at the end is that people are so excited that you're almost done. And they're like, come on, you almost ran a marathon, right? And in my head, and I'm just going, I don't even know what state of mind. A marathon really takes your mind to a place where it's never been. And in my head, I'm just like, you're not fucking done yet, Marcus. You're not fucking done yet. Because you just don't want to give yourself that like slight relief that you're done because you know you're not done. And meanwhile, my body's cramping, by the way. So mile 23 is where I started to really go into cramps in my hamstrings, my hips, and my quads. And I'm just telling myself, you're not done yet. Give me 1 more. Give me 1 more. And then, yeah, that's just kind of how it goes.
The rest is history, right? And you ran your last mile as the fastest one that you ran in
Correct.
total, correct?
No way.
Yeah, I ran at 8. The last one I ran like 8:53 or something, yeah.
Yeah. So his whole goal, I actually, the morning of, because I had to race the same day, obviously, I sent him a little something, and I told him, you better beat this goddamn time, man. You trained for this. And needless to say, he was stuck in a group that was way slower than he should have seated himself. He basically just Dunning-Kruger affected himself in a way, if you know what I'm saying, right?
Oh, there's shifts? Like there's different groups?
Yeah,
of
so
the
there's
people?
there's 5 waves. There's waves 1 through 5. 1 is the Kenyans and the Ethiopians, and then
The
2,
champions.
correct. Yeah, and then 2 through 5 are the more human people. But basically, what you put on. So you have to decide by September 16th what your estimated pace is going to be or what your estimated finish time is going to be, and then they sort you out by there. So at the time, I had no idea how good or bad I was going to be, so I put conservatively 5 hours, which automatically puts you in the back wave. So I'm running with the people who are slower and running around that pace, so the last 10 miles, I'm basically swerving in and out, and when I checked my watch, I actually ran 26.75 miles. So I ran almost half a mile more than a marathon.
What?
Because
How
he
does
was
that...
he was constantly having to go side to side instead of straight line on the course.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You
Gotta
were
love
literally
that, right?
you were literally like dodging metaphorical traffic with the people. You were literally going around everyone. You were running laps while running a marathon. You're
Yeah,
crazy.
and then there were people in the middle of the thing fucking texting and just like walking and texting, FaceTiming, calling. I'm like, what the fuck are you people doing? Are we here to get after it or not?
Oh, that's hilarious. So, actually, I told Marcus the day of, you better break goddamn 4 hours because we worked our asses off for this to get here. And I know you can because 4 hours is like 9 minutes a mile pace. And so, I'm like tracking Marcus the whole day also because I had already raced early morning. My race was 7 a.m. And Marcus goes off around 12. And so I'm tracking him, looking at the NYC Marathons app, and I'm seeing like the splits in the miles and what time he's coming in. I'm like, you better get after it right now. You are coming in like 3 minutes too slow. And then he shows me his watch time and everything that he had to go through that day, and he's like, Yeah, I got under 4 hours, son.
Wow.
So he did it. He did it.
Technically, it doesn't say that in the the NYRR road history books, I guess. But
Yeah, of course.
it was still a 4:03, which is not shabby for someone who hasn't really run before. I'm totally proud of it, and I'm still satisfied with it, so I don't care.
Wait. So how much was the total distance on your tracker?
I believe it was. Hold on, I can pull it up right now.
His time was 4:03 for.
No, but how the distance? How much did he run?
So a regular marathon is 26.2. I ran 26.71.
You're in a half mile more.
4 hours and 3 minutes. So you ran, dude. You definitely like.
I mean, we can calculate it. So I ran 26.71 in 4 hours and 4 minutes and 43 seconds.
Yeah.
What is your typical average mile when you were training? 9 minutes, 8 minutes,
Well,
10 minutes.
Pete and I were doing that zone 2 training.
Yeah, so we were. I mean, like I said, the 7 miles we started at 14 minutes, and the funniest thing also is that every time we get like remotely close to 135 BPM or higher, we'd be like, "Slow down, slow down, slow down! You can't go faster, or else we're gonna die or something." And no, after that, we realized, oh yeah, this is stupid. We can just go a little higher, a little lower, or whatever. So we worked our way from 14 a mile to I think nearly 9 a mile at one Marcus also has a naturally lower BPM range than me, so like we'd be running at 9 to 10 minutes a mile where he's at 130 BPM. I'll be like around 140, 145, but it's around the same amount of work we're putting in.
Yeah, so Alex, to briefly explain what zone 2 training is, it's basically it's about 60 to 70% of your heart rate max. And what it does is it uses exclusively fat as energy source for, in order to keep you going. And what you want to do is when you're marathon training is you want to run in this zone on your long runs so that you can build a really good endurance base so that for the run you can increase your heart rate without sacrificing kind of your energy stores. So that's why we did it. We know it sounds ridiculous that we did 14 minutes a mile on mile set the first time. But towards the end, we were doing the exact same heart rate at like under 10 almost. So we improved within those 3 months. So I knew going in for the marathon, obviously, you're going to give it your all. So my average heart rate was much higher than it was on any of my training runs.
Of course.
Yeah. So.
Wait. So does someone have a calculator or their phone out?
Yeah, we've got them. Why?
Can you do 240 divided by 27?
8.88888889.
So 8.9. So you ran almost 27 miles, roughly under 9 minutes a mile. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, not bad for a first time. I got after it. Oh yeah, I stayed hard. I'm not gonna lie. I stayed pretty hard for that race. I'm telling
you ran your fastest lap at the last lap. Who does that?
I mean, to be fair, I didn't. My race was a little shorter, so I could tell you about mine because mine was way faster than I expected it to be.
Oh yeah,
Pete,
I saw Pete's message at like 7 at night. This dude flew.
I freaked out when I saw the time. When I was on the last straightaway. But no, actually, before I get to this, what was your feeling like crossing the finish line? Like, how did you feel getting across the finish line?
I couldn't believe it. Like, I just couldn't believe that I just stopped.
Pure ecstasy.
Yeah, like, the last, there's a sign when you get to after mile 26, it tells you, like, oh, these are the last 800 meters. Those were the longest 800 meters of my life.
Your whole life flashing before your eyes. Everything you've done up until that moment, just like it's all a blur. All the people cheering you, it's just hazy noises, and it's just everything's all happening.
You're just so present, it's unreal, and you just tell yourself, you just one more step, one more step, one more step, and then you finally cross the finish line, and you just can't believe that you just did that. You're not even thinking about it. You're just like honestly, you're just thinking nothing.
It's just a euphoric sense of accomplishment.
Yeah, you can barely walk, but you could run. But you can barely walk because your legs have been doing this for 4 hours
Yeah,
straight.
yeah. The muscle memory in your legs just want to keep moving.
Correct. And you just kind of slowly walk, and you're just like, whoa. I just took my mind. It's not even about the body, dude. It's you just take your mind to places that it's never been. That's like more than 50% of the reason why I ran the marathon.
Nice. Well, I'm sure Pete's already said this, but I'll say it to you as well. Congratulations. Good job, and I'll see you next year.
Are you gonna run with me, Alex?
Sure, why not?
Oh, no way! Wow. Okay. You know that you're holding yourself accountable not only in front of us, but whoever's listening, right?
All right, fine. I'll do it. I'll crazily do it. Unless something happens, which I may or may not be hoping for.
Alex gonna
But-
be a bad motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
All right, 2022 is the year Alex runs a marathon. # work hard.
Ooh, I'm with it.
Hell
I'm with
yeah.
it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.